Relieved he avoided looking like a trespasser, Uryu is startled when three beautiful girls suddenly emerge, catching him off guard. People often say that tears are a way to ease our sorrows, but deep within this young man, there are no more tears left to cry. This is Uryu, an unfortunate soul who's lost everything dear to him. To escape his troubles, Uryu tries to chase his dreams with a single-minded focus, hoping they'll help him forget the hardships he's endured. Today he finds himself at a temple, hoping for a fresh start. As he strolls toward the entrance, absorbed in his book, a group of girls sees him and assumes he's come here to pray for good fortune. Little do they know, Uryu doesn't believe in gods, and he certainly isn't here to pray. Inside the temple grounds, there's a building where he expects to find the head monk. He calls out, but there's no reply. Deciding to investigate, he steps inside, figuring that the monk, possibly hard of hearing in his old age, simply didn't catch his greeting. Just then, he hears the playful chatter of girls coming from another room. Relieved he avoided looking like a trespasser, Uryu is startled when three beautiful girls suddenly emerge, catching him off guard. He's immediately struck by their charming faces, but before he can even process the situation, they hastily shut the door to finish changing. Moments later, they come back out and start scolding him, accusing him of ogling their sacred bodies. They even joke that his nose is bleeding in excitement. Yuna, the eldest sister, immediately labels Uryu as shameless and insists that he needs to be cleansed for his perceived transgression. While Yuna reprimands him, the other two sisters are more forgiving, giggling at the thought that he might be the first person they've seen who literally had a nosebleed from excitement. Uryu, red-faced and desperate to explain himself, attempts to clear up the misunderstanding, introducing himself and explaining that he'll be staying here from now on. Despite his apology, Yuna still struggles to forgive him. She's especially upset that he saw their sacred forms without showing even a hint of remorse. Curious, Uryu asks about the monk, and Yae, the eldest of the sisters, gently informs him that he won't return until tomorrow. Yae, who is gentle and somewhat naive, introduces herself as a 20-year-old college student. The youngest sister, Asahi, is a bit more mischievous, teasing Uryu by saying she hopes he'll spoil her, even suggesting she could become his little sister. Uryu, nervous about the implications, jokingly worries aloud about not wanting to end up in jail since she's only 14. The two sisters welcome him warmly, while Yuna, who's also 17 like Uryu, remains aloof, making it clear she's there to study, not to be part of any family. With an exasperated sigh, Yuna begrudgingly finds him a place to sleep, but warns him to behave if he wants decent food. Otherwise, he won't get anything to eat. Uryu is irritated by her attitude, but knows he has to play by her rules since he's essentially living off their hospitality. Later, Yae shows him to a small, cluttered room with a single desk and a wardrobe filled with odds and ends. As she digs through the piles of belongings to find him something, a box accidentally falls on her, and Uryu quickly moves to catch it. However, instead of grabbing the box, his hands somehow end up on a much softer area. Hearing the commotion, Yuna rushes in, witnesses the scene, and assuming the worst, labels him a beast for taking advantage of her sister. After an awkward explanation, Uryu can only sigh in frustration, feeling that his first day has been one embarrassing mishap after another. Just then, Asahi appears, playfully expressing a desire to get closer to her new big brother. Hoping to study in peace, Uryu tries to shoo her away, but Asahi mischievously begins rummaging through his things, searching for anything suspicious. Trying to stop her, he stumbles and ends up accidentally pinning her to the floor. Just then, Yuna walks in once more, and with a horrified look, she decides Uryu must truly be a lolicon. Finally, as the night progresses, Uryu gets some time to study. When he takes a break to wash his face, he notices a light on in the neighboring room. He peeks in and sees Yuna fast asleep, surrounded by paper charms. Feeling a sense of pity, he quietly attempts to drape a blanket over her, but Yuna wakes up suddenly and kicks him away in surprise. The noise brings the other two sisters running, and upon seeing the scene, they assume Yuna and Uryu are having a private moment and hurriedly leave, joking that Uryu is already making a move on all three of them in just one day. Trying to shift the focus, Uryu asks Yuna what she was doing so late. Embarrassed, she hesitates to answer. But her sisters explain she was making omamori charms to bring luck to visitors. They caution Uryu not to touch them, worried his skepticism might taint their purity. Uryu, shrugging, thanks them, saying he's glad he doesn't need them anyway. Yuna, offended, tells him that as shrine maidens, they have a duty to create these charms, even if a non-believer like him can't understand. Each sister wears a red thread given to them by their late mother, which they believe connects them to the gods, helping them grant wishes and spread blessings. This red thread is a cherished heirloom that symbolizes their bond with their mother. Though they can't see her, they each feel her presence with them. Realizing Uryu is up late studying, Yuna deduces he's focused on his education. Uryu reveals his ambition to get into the medical school at Kyoto University. Yuna is shocked, knowing how demanding it is, and even the two younger sisters look at him in surprise, impressed by his lofty goal. Asahi cheerfully assures him that the shrine's charms have brought academic success to many, and his dreams will be no different. Uryu, however, remains unconvinced. Yuna, still hopeful, mentions that she wants to see a meteor shower this spring, believing it could make her wishes come true. Uryu scoffs, explaining that meteors burn up in the atmosphere, and if one ever reached Earth, it would likely be a cataclysmic event. Yuna, deeply disappointed by his scientific reasoning, grows frustrated and threatens to cast a charm to exorcise him, though Ye steps in to diffuse the tension. Asahi, however, finds Uryu's bluntness entertaining and eagerly anticipates what other antics he might bring. The next morning, the temple fills with visitors, all hopeful that their prayers will be answered. When Yuna struggles to communicate with foreign guests, Uryu steps in to help, suggesting she learn English to better fulfill her role. He even offers to teach her, which she reluctantly considers. Suddenly, a gust of wind sweeps through the temple, and a falcon swoops down, snatching Yuna's precious red thread, her late mother's keepsake. The sisters search frantically all day but are unable to locate the bird. Heartbroken, Yuna blames herself for being careless. Her sisters reassure her, believing that the gods will help them recover it in due time. Uryu felt frustrated seeing the three of them continue to rely on divine intervention for this issue. He believed that even if there were gods, they wouldn't grant wishes directly. People had to fulfill their own desires. His words angered Yuna, who insisted that the deity here wouldn't abandon someone who prays earnestly. Tension rose, so Yae stepped in to calm things down. Yuna concluded that this shrine was no place for someone like Uryu. Yet, right after that, Uryu went off to find Yuna's red string. In the mountains, Uryu used his knowledge of bird behavior to try to locate the red string, thinking it might be around some bird nests, but he had no luck. As darkness set in, he struggled to see anything, and thoughts of giving up started creeping in. Still, Uryu decided to try praying. Just then, Yuna showed up and, seeing Uryu with his hands clasped in prayer, was overjoyed. She was surprised to find him putting in so much effort to retrieve her treasured item after their earlier argument. Having lost his mother at a young age, Uryu understood how it felt for Yuna to lose a keepsake. He approached her, praising her efforts and explaining that verbalizing wishes makes it easier for deities to hear. They both apologized for their earlier words. Seeing Uryu's weary look, Yuna realized how much he had tried. She said he deserved to stay at the shrine with her, as he had shown some respect for the gods after all. Not long after, Asahi and Yae arrived to pick them up, joking about how lucky they were not to have been taken by the gods. The youngest teased them about being alone together at night, hinting at something more. The four headed back in high spirits. Unexpectedly, a real miracle unfolded as countless shooting stars lit up the sky, blending with the light of cherry blossoms. The sight left Uryu stunned, yet he thought it was just a rare coincidence. The three girls were speechless, calling him hopelessly unromantic. Asahi remarked that girls aren't interested in guys who lack romance, and suggested Uryu practice being more charming if he wanted to avoid staying single. Yuna asked him if he really didn't consider the beautiful scene of the three shrine maidens under the stars a miracle. Uryu, embarrassed, had to admit it truly was magical. Someone else had observed their conversation and assisted in helping Yuna retrieve her mother's keepsake, which a bird had carried to its nest.